Hello, beautiful humans, and welcome to Growing Through It, a podcast dedicated to bringing you clarity so that you can harness your curiosity and be the creator of your life. Hosted by me, Shanae Rowe. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. Thank you for joining me for yet another episode. I am so sorry I couldn't be with you all last week to share an episode with you guys. I was not well. I didn't have a voice and I was feeling pretty sick, but I did try. I tried. I was on my way home from work on Tuesday night and I was like, you know what? I'm going to record this episode and just see what happens. But the audio was so bad that I couldn't even use it. So I tried for you all, but thank you so much for showing up and being here with me again for another episode. It means a lot and I'm very, very grateful that you are following along. So let's jump into today's episode, and it's number 27 we're up to, and it's called You Don't Have to Be Good, You Just Have to Be Brave. And it was inspired by my late night rambles with a friend that I met last weekend. Friend that I made. I don't know. Shout out to Alex. If you're listening to this, you're an absolute gem and I'm very grateful that I met you the other day. It was a mutual of one of my friends. Got introduced to her. She's a legend. But we were having some really wholesome chats on last weekend. And what I was saying, I was like, this is actually kind of cool. I'm going to write it down and make a podcast episode around it. So that's what I'm doing now. You don't have to be good, you just have to be brave. And it's all about trying new things and figuring ourselves out and wanting to do more of the things that we enjoy and just doing those things instead of being scared to or not doing it or holding ourselves back, preventing ourselves from doing the things that we want to do. So that is this episode. I hope you enjoy. Buckle up. There's going to be lots of mic drop moments in here. It's going to be a good one, I promise. And please share it around if you're loving Growing Through It, the podcast. Share it on your socials. Let me know what you like about it so that I can keep creating episodes around that. And if you don't like parts of it, tell me too, and I can always adjust because I want to keep creating and sharing all my little bits and bobs with you guys. So Thank you. I love you all, and let's get into it. Okay, first up, I'm going to ask you guys one question, and it is, what brings you joy? What is something, write it down right now, something that you do that makes you happy, something that makes you smile, makes you laugh, makes you all giddy and excited and happy. What is something that brings you joy? And now, what I want you to do is write down 2 more things. So I want you to have 3 things right now written down, things that bring you joy, things that make you happy, things that make you feel alive and yourself and vibrant and bubbly and just full of life. So they can be things like hobbies or crafts or activities or sports, a bit of flow art, you like going on hikes, you like traveling, you like, cooking, you like baking. What are 3 things that make you happy? Just because they simply do. And now I want you to ask yourself, do you do those things enough? Do you cook out of pleasure enough? Or are you just cooking your meals in order to survive, basically, so that you have fuel in your belly? Do you go on hikes enough? Do you take your dog on random adventures enough? Do you go for swims in the ocean enough, if that's what makes you happy? And now I want you to ask yourself the question, why? Why aren't you doing these things enough? If the answer is no, why not? And if the answer is yes, amazing. That's great. You're doing amazing. I'm proud of you. If there is sort of a disconnect between the things that bring you joy and the amount of times that you're actually doing them, why is that? What's stopping you? What are you telling yourself? What are the thoughts going on in your mind that you are saying to yourself that are somehow preventing you from doing the things that make you happy? What could possibly be stopping you from doing the things that you enjoy? Write it down. Say it out loud. What are they? What comes to mind? And for a lot of us, it's going to be the fear of failing, the the fear of looking stupid, the fear of being bad, of looking like an amateur, right? We don't want to embarrass ourselves. We don't want to do the things we enjoy in front of other people or at all because we feel like we're not skilled. We feel like we're not good enough to be doing it. And we don't want to look bad. We don't want to look silly. We don't want to embarrass ourselves in front of people. We want to be good. And I think for me especially, I've found that is the driving factor behind not doing the things that bring us pleasure, not having fun or being ourselves or letting loose. The reason behind that is because we want to be good and we don't want to be bad. And they are such broad terms, like good and bad, and there's so many ways to define what good is and what bad is. They're just these umbrella terms that encompass so many limiting beliefs, self-deprecating voices in our heads of telling us that we're basically not good enough and that we can't do something unless we're good at it. So have a think about that. What are the phrases that you tell yourself that are stopping you from, having fun, being playful, finding joy? What is stopping you from pursuing that hobby? What's stopping you from dancing or from picking up a craft, crocheting, knitting, playing a sport? And if you dive into the reasoning behind it is fear. It's fear of failing, fear of looking silly, fear of being bad, wanting to be good. So what even is being good? What is this umbrella term that is good? Because all of us have a different concept and idea of what being good is based on what we learned and what we were told growing up. So what is being good? And I think the one that sticks out for me is being good means being perfect. And we shy away from doing things because if we're not being good at it, if we're not good at it, that means we're not perfect at it. And if we're imperfect, then we're not worthy of trying this thing, of doing this hobby, of playing this sport or instrument or, doing things that make us happy. We're not allowed to do it because we're not perfect at it. We're not good at it. And that's just a completely false narrative. It's lies that we tell ourselves. And it's the biggest way that we get in our own ways. Like, we stop ourselves from being happy because of all of these beliefs that we have about needing to be good and perfect. Like, we are stripping ourselves from our own right to have fun, to find pleasure, to have joy because of our fear of looking silly, our fear of being imperfect, our fear of not being good. I also had a quick Google as well of synonyms for good because, the big one is we believe falsely that good means perfect. Good equals being perfect. But what else can good mean? And I found some really interesting ones. Like, good can equate to being talented or successful or accomplished, having lots of knowledge and things behind us, like degrees and things like that. We can think of good to mean competent or skilled or superior, believing that if you're good at something, it means you're better than someone else. We can think of good as meaning that we're not afraid of anything as well, which is so wrong. Like, that is not true at all. When we are good at something, it doesn't mean that we don't have any fear or that we're not afraid of bad things happening or we're not afraid of the outcome of something. That's totally backwards thinking. But all of these different meanings of good that we subconsciously have in our minds hinder us from actually going and doing things that make us happy. You don't pick up a hobby because you don't want to look bad in front of people, because you don't want to look like a failure, because you don't want to look like you're scared of doing this new thing. You don't pick up that hobby because you want to feel talented straight away and you want to feel accomplished and successful, and you don't feel that straight away, so you don't keep doing the hobby. You don't practice it. You don't go for a boogie out at the beach because you're scared of what people think of you, because you're scared that you look stupid. You look like you're not a dancer. You look like you don't know what you're doing. You look like you're not talented enough to be dancing on the beach. You look like you're unsuccessful. You look inferior to other people because you know out there that there are people better than you at dancing on the beach. So you don't do it, even though dancing on the beach makes you happy. And a lot of the time, it is this false narrative of what we believe good to be that stops us from seeking out the things that make us happy, from seeking out things that bring us joy. How are you supposed to live a wonderful, beautiful, fulfilled life when you are scared of doing the things that you love because you're scared of embarrassing yourself? You're scared of looking bad. You're scared of looking like you're not experienced enough to be doing what you're doing. How are you supposed to love your life? How are you supposed to enjoy every moment of your life when you're too scared to actually do the things that bring you joy? How? Because you won't. You won't until you change your perception of what good means. Doing things based on this false idea of what good is and that you have to be good in order to do something successfully is not going to get you to places of peace and happiness and joy. It's going to make you scared. It's going to make you scared of being yourself in front of people. It's going to make you scared of going out of your comfort zone. Because we stay in our comfort zones because we want to be good. We want to be perceived as successful, talented, brave. We don't want to be afraid of anything. We want to be good at what we're doing. That's the idea that we've grown up believing. But I promise you, as soon as you throw that away or unpack why it is you're stopping doing the things that you like because you don't want to look bad, that's the day you're going to liberate yourself. Believe me. So have a think for me. What does being good mean to you? What are the beliefs and the false narratives you tell yourself about what being good means? Does it mean doing the right thing, whatever that is? Doing what you're told, speaking only when you're asked? Does being good mean that you're a qualified professional in your field and you're playing it safe, you're playing by the rules, you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing? Is that what being good means to you? And then ask yourself, how does that belief prevent you from making choices that bring out the best in you, that bring out the fun in you and the love and the playfulness and the curiosity? How does your limiting belief about being good and bad prevent you from living a life that brings out the joys in you? And if you do enough unpacking around your beliefs about that, you'll start to realize that you've been getting in your way this whole time. You have all of these ideas about passions to pursue and hobbies and things that you want to get good at, but you don't start because you feel like you're not good enough. And that mindset has to go. Okay? And that's what I mean by you don't have to be good. You do not have to be good at anything you do. You can't even go into something with the idea that you're going to be good straight off the bat because you are just setting yourself up for disappointment. You're going to disappoint yourself. And don't do that to yourself. There is no reason to disappoint yourself, okay? But if you go into something, a new hobby, wanting to develop a skill, wanting to, be more confident, you want to speak in front of people, you want to dance in front of people, you want to get on a stage and act and perform, all these things, go into it with the mindset and with the perception that you don't have to be good. You can be batshit crazy bad. You can be awful. Go in with it with the mindset that all you have to be is brave. You don't have to be good. You just have to be brave. Doing what you love has nothing to do with being good at it. It has everything to do with being brave enough to get up there in front of people and do it anyways. That's how you build your confidence. That's how you get good at something. That's how you enjoy your life. You find things that make you happy and you go after that feeling of joy and bliss and peace, regardless of whether you're good at something or not, regardless of whether you're skilled in what you're doing. Just be brave. That's all you need to do. So in saying that, what does being brave even mean? Why do we need to have that sense of bravery and not just the mindset of I'm allowed to be bad? Why do we have to be brave, as well as believing that we're allowed to be bad at something? When you go into something being brave, that means that you are putting yourself out there, you're putting your heart on the line to be open and vulnerable and fail. Letting the world see you fail is the bravest thing you could ever possibly do for yourself, and it is the most healing and courageous and powerful thing that you can do for yourself, because you're letting people see you. You're letting people see every part of you. You're not putting on a front and presenting yourself to the world being like, oh, look at me, I'm good at this, watch how good I am, like see how wonderful this skill is, see my talent, see that I'm good. When you put yourself out there, when you be brave, you are showing people the other side of you. You're showing people the fearful side. You're showing people that you are here doing something that makes you happy, doing something that you love, that makes you laugh, that puts a smile on your face. You're doing it even though you don't feel competent or the best at it. And you're showing other people that feeling joy and feeling love and feeling happy is more important to you than looking good. You're showing people that how you feel inside doing the things that make you happy is more important than their perception of you, than them thinking, oh, she's kind of trash at that. She's not very good. That bravery, that vulnerability, that your ability to put yourself on the line like that, to put yourself in the public eye and share the parts of yourself that are still developing and still growing, that's bravery. That's courageous. That's fucking amazing. And anyone that can do that, and believe me, you all can, anyone that can do that understands what it means to be at peace with themselves. They understand what it is to be free within themselves, within their body, within their mind. I think being brave is also about facing our danger and our difficulties and our discomfort. We all know life is not smooth sailing, no way it is. And when we're doing things that are hard and that take us out of our comfort zone, it puts us in this psychological state of danger. I've spoken about it before in previous episodes, but we get into a fight, flight, freeze state. Because when we're out of our comfort zones, we're in a place of new territory. We don't know what's happening. We don't know the outcome of things we're doing. And so psychologically, we're in a state of fear. And uncertainty brings with it that fear. There's a perceived threat. Even though it's psychological, it's still a threat to our safety. It's a threat to our psychological safety. And I think being brave is all about navigating that openly. Sharing our fears and doing the things that make us feel scared and that push us out of our comfort zone, despite how psychologically distressed we feel, right? Bravery is about navigating that feeling, that experience by yourself or openly with other people. Being brave is facing our dangers, and sometimes our dangers are just the thoughts in our mind. Sometimes our danger is feeling judged by other people that we're bad at this hobby that we've just picked up. Being brave is understanding what's going on in your mind, but not listening to those voices and the fears of embarrassment or looking bad or other people judging you. Being brave is sitting in our discomfort and not letting the fear and uncertainty and the discomfort crush us. I think bravery is also intentionally taking the next steps in our lives. It's about imagining where we want to go, the person we want to be, the places we want to go to and see we are intentionally taking the next step to get there. We can imagine time and time again of who we want to turn into, the qualities that we want to have, the places that we want to see, the friends we want to make. We can imagine all those things for ourselves. We can imagine that life and think, oh wow, what a beautiful life that would be. But I think bravery is intentionally taking a physical step towards the direction that you want to go, towards the person that you want to be, towards the places that you want to see. That is brave, because we can sit here imagining our lives and our futures and how wonderfully spectacular they're going to be in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. You can think about retirement and how you want your life to look, but being brave is actually taking steps to get there. Making actionable choices that get you to the places that you want to go, that get you to the place where you're experiencing the sensations of love and joy and fulfillment. That's bravery. And I think the more times we take those steps forward, whether that is just thinking about life and, oh, I actually really want to be good at juggling, and then taking the steps to learn how to juggle, and then juggling, and then practicing juggling, that is brave. And it seems like such a small thing, but you can apply that to every aspect of your life. And that's how you create a wonderful life. I think when we remove the idea that we have to be good at something when we start doing it, and just go in it with the belief that all we have to be is brave, we can more easily sit in the lack of control we have over our lives, because we don't have control. We have control over the choices that we make, but we don't have control over the big, broader picture of our lives of what's going to happen. We just have choices to make when things present themselves to us. And I think the more often you act with bravery, you make actionable choices to get you to places you want to be, the more often you're open and vulnerable. You let people see you, and you sit in your discomfort, and you go headstrong into your fears without letting them consume you. That builds our confidence, and building our confidence gives us the drive to keep going in our hobbies, in our skills, in the things we want to achieve, and that in turn makes us good at something. I'm going to talk a little bit about my personal experience, but for so long I thought that you had to be good at something in order to try it, which is such backwards thinking. But I would go into things, start a new hobby, wanting to learn. I would want to learn something, and I would go into it thinking that I had to be good at it straight off the bat. And that would honestly kill my confidence. It would kill my self-esteem, and I would leave the whole experience thinking, wow, I'm not good at anything. I can't do anything. I can't stick to things. I can't commit. I can't do anything because I'm not good at it. And only after so many failed attempts, trial and error, I've come to understand that it doesn't work like that. Learning things doesn't work like that. Being good at something, being skilled in something doesn't work like that. You can't go into it with the mindset that you have to be good off the bat, because you are going to be bad, and that's going to hurt you. That's going to hurt your ego. And because you're hurt, your poor ego is hurt, you're going to want to stop. You're going to want to not keep learning or keep chipping away at this hobby or developing this skill, because you're bad at it, and now you know you're bad at it. When you go into anything with the mindset that you have to be good, that you have to be perfect, you already have to be competent and successful, and you're not allowed to be scared, you're going to kill the motivation. You're going to kill all of the energy and the inspiration. Dead. It's gone. If you go into something with the mindset that you're allowed to be bad at it, and all you have to do is show up for yourself, you are going to go so much further. You're going to be able to learn that instrument. You're going to be able to get better at swimming. You're going to be able to race in competitions. You're going to be able to be free, be a free little pixie fairy and go dance on the beach, like what I was saying earlier. When you go into something with the mindset that all you have to do is show up, all you have to do is be brave, back yourself, you're going to go so much further. And when you start to see the results, when you start to see the blossoming flowers of the seeds that you've been planting, that builds your confidence. That allows you to look at yourself and be like, hey, I'm actually doing so much better than what I was at the start. I have developed in this area. I've grown in this way. I have changed. I have evolved. That builds your confidence. That makes you reflect on yourself and think, hey, I'm actually kind of good. I'm actually pretty cool, and I'm glad that I've been sticking this out. And then that creates this wonderful cycle of lifting yourself up. When you feel proud of yourself, when you feel good about the progress that you've made, you want to keep going. You want to continue with the hobby or the skill. And then because you're continuing, you look back again and you're like, wow, I have grown even more. I am that much better than what I was a month ago, 2 months ago when I started. And then you keep going, right? And you just keep checking in on yourself, and you keep going, and you keep looking back and being proud of yourself. And that's how you get good at something. That's how you become skilled. That's how you become confident and talented, and people look up to you. Whatever it is your perception of good is at the start, like, you have to reframe it so that you're working towards that. You can't start something thinking that you're going to be good at it. You have to go in thinking you're bad, being brave, and then at the end of it, you're going to have achieved what you wanted anyways, purely because of the beliefs you have about yourself, your perception of yourself. That's what makes you good at something. That's what makes you successful. It's just the perception you have of yourself and your abilities and your capacity to learn and grow. That's all it is. It's just a little mindset shift. And that's, honestly, this is going to be my new motto, because when I was having this chat with the beautiful woman I met on the weekend, I was like saying it to everyone. I was like, because for me, I found it to be so life-changing when you just tell yourself you don't have to be good, you just have to be brave. That's it. That's it. And just keep doing things that you love and enjoy, even if you're bad at them. Do it with confidence. Do it with bravery. Bravery builds confidence, and you're just going to get yourself in this cycle of doing things that you love because you love them, regardless of what anyone thinks, regardless of what you think. And by the end of it, there is no end, but by the end of it, you're going to be good. You're going to be fabulous. You're going to be amazing because your mindset has changed. You have changed. What you want out of the hobby or the skill has changed. It's not you want to look good. It's you just want to have fun, and you want to enjoy what you're doing, and you want to make the most of your life doing the things that put a smile on your face. That's all there is to it. You don't have to be good. You just have to be brave enough to show up. So before I end this episode, I want to get you to reflect back on those 3 things from the start that I asked you to write down. 3 things that bring you joy, make you happy, things that you just love doing. And I want you now to think about ways that you're going to start doing that more. Think about how you're going to show up for yourself now, doing those things because you love them. Go into it with the mindset that you don't have to be good at it. You just have to be brave enough to show up for yourself. You just have to be brave enough to give it a go by yourself or in front of people, okay? Make it a commitment to yourself to show up for yourself. Commit to doing these things. Commit to doing at least one of these 3 things that make you happy. Regardless of if you're good at it or not, or if you're still learning and still developing, whatever it is, promise yourself that you're going to do one of these things at least, regardless of where you're at in the journey of it, okay? And just be brave. Just be brave. I believe in you, and I'm proud of you. And that is all I have for you today. I hope you found a little bit of inspiration or motivation or whatever from this episode. Thank you so much for joining me. And I'm super excited to be back again next week with another episode. That's all from me for today. Share this around. If you liked it, please let me know what you think. I'm sending you all my love. But for now, the world is waiting for you. So get on out there and enjoy your big, beautiful life. Bye.